the sky starts to change, yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again.
Hello, all you weebs, and welcome to the Grappling of the Week, the show that brings you the hottest wrestling news, the highlight from every streaming kitchens of the NXT to the gritty, fast, and paced action of AEW. We talk about it all and give you a big discussion piece of truly to satisfy the hunger of the wrestling content. Brought to you by Anima We Studio and hosted by your Weebs of the Ring co-hosts. And enough of the introduction. Let's stomp out of the mud hole in this week and get to the show. We're here with the rest of the team as myself, the legendary Vash, the visionary, as always, seeing the future. As you see, we are the Grappling of the Week of discussing what's popping in this wrestling world because Elimination Chambers are on the corner. We could be discussing about what is our predictions, what could be happening, whose soul is being taken. But I'm not alone to discuss this. Who am I here with?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, what is up? What is good? It is your world champion Whawkins here with another great week to talk about the Graps with some lovely little dudes of mine.
As well as DropThisBox, the genius of the sky, which I'll put myself as that name today. Hopefully EO doesn't get too offended by that. But we're gonna have some.
She's good. I can already sense the cease and desist letters coming to our mailboxes at this moment.
All right.
Oh yeah, like Marvel did.
All right. I'll say genius of the mat, just so we don't have to run into another thing that we did last week when we talked about that Rey Mysterio news.
Exactly.
Today should be fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like Drop said, today will be fun tonight for anywhere that you guys are listening to or watching right now. We appreciate, as always, like, subscribe if you're new for the first time, and if you're return listening, let us know what you think about the show and the topics that we are here. And if you're watching the stream, join with us, have a discussion. We'll always have a Q&A at the end if there's time. If not, we'll always try to save the questions and have a quick discussion during the show when they're here before we transition to the next segment. And talking about segments, let's get further straight to the show. We have here the greater wrestling media, and this is a segment used for the highlighting of any indie promotion, any news that we want to discuss, interesting documentaries and interviews from the week that we have been listening to or checking out in the grand scale of pro wrestling in the world. So let's get to the first one that I was shocked about it from this past week that I didn't even know. Our referee that we saw that's been having a history from Cody Rhodes as a fan, and now she helped and hold the belt last year at WrestleMania 40, and now we find out that this referee, Jessika Carr, is returning in ring as with a name as, how you pronounce that one?
I think it's Kalyx?
Yeah, I'll say Kalyx, yeah.
Yeah.
You pronounce it better than me. I was going to say
sometimes even when I'm doing videos and I do my scripts, sometimes I have to highlight over something to have it read out to me so I know how to pronounce it properly, because I know some of you guys in the comments coming after us when we say stuff wrong.
Hey, it happens, chat. We're not perfect, and pronunciation is not always going to be the perfect.
Yeah.
But look, Whawkins, you pronounce it better than I did, because I was going to say Kalyx.
I mean, tomato, potato.
But Whawkins, first, talk to us about this. How do you feel about this? If anything, give us more information from the article as well.
So a little bit with this. So this is according to Fightful Select. They're the source behind this news. The Kalyx name, Kalyx, or however it's gonna be pronounced. We saw this name get trademarked by WWE for all the licensing stuff for wrestlers that they do and all that. The name is actually for Jessika Carr, WWE's first full-time female referee, who has been quietly making moves to return to in-ring action. Sources within WWE claim Carr has been competing under a mask at recent Evolve tapings, and Kalyx is reportedly her new identity. So this is kind of cool because I had no idea she was a wrestler beforehand. It kind of makes sense again because whenever you're doing wrestling training and all this, you do, you have to learn everything, obviously, and all that. But to know that you went from a wrestler to a referee, that's kind of an interesting kind of change with that. Because we see a lot of wrestlers go from, being a wrestler to an announcer or something, or a coach, or maybe even a manager. But very rarely I see them go from a wrestler to a referee. So that's kind of cool in itself. And I mean, good on her. I mean, she's been getting in really great shape recently and all that. And I don't know if that was for this in-ring and turn and everything, but it's also a good way too to kind of market that Evolve project that they're doing and promoting and all that for their WWE ID system. Yeah, I mean that's really my thoughts on it. Drop, did you have anything with this?
I will say that I have seen her like do training like outside of the referee thing, because I believe I follow her on X, so I do see her posting pictures of her when she's in the gym and stuff working out. So I would assume it's just one of those things that a lot of them do. Like even Michael Cole says that even when he is on commentary, he still works out and makes sure that he's in the best shape. So I assume it's probably the same thing for her, because outside of her getting into the ring again, she also wants to make sure that she's able to move around the ring and make sure everything's in control of the match. So that's also another thing on top of it. But it's also like a really nice thing to have her in there, like you said, help promote Evolve, because it is actually starting next Wednesday at 8 o'clock, which is a pretty interesting start time. And it's going to be on Tubi, which I know Tubi, you can have like free access to it. There's really no any subscriptions and stuff. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how she is. I've never seen her in the ring. I haven't really bothered to like look up any videos on YouTube. I'm pretty sure there's probably some things out there, but I am very curious to see like how things are going to turn out here. Because I know the way that they are structuring Evolve is it's going to be Evolve, NXT, then the main roster. So pretty much all of the ID talent that's also going to be part of Evolve, you're probably going to be able to have them showcase, dip their feet in the water, get used to everything in the company before they take off and they become a part of NXT and then eventually head up on the main roster. So this is pretty cool. Like, I'm very curious to see how it turns out for her, definitely.
Yeah, because I remember last time we heard and spoke to, not we spoke, but people said, like for Samantha, she's a ring announcer, but she did the training as well as a wrestler, because it's a prerequisite in a way. It seems like it, that anybody that's going to join the company, I wonder, like, is it anybody that's on TV or anybody that joins the company? Like, even if you're going to be a security guard, do you have to go through the training? Like, is that a requirement? I'm just curious to know, like, is that something that's mandatory? And if it's not, cool. But for a ring announcer to do the training as well, that's insane. For Jessika Carr, pretty awesome, I will say. Like, honestly, like, that is a pretty awesome way to get into the company and go from a wrestler to referee and now be again a wrestler. And I wonder if she's gonna be doing both, like, in the future. Are we gonna see her on NXT and as well as a referee? Is she gonna balance both? Is she gonna be like a double paycheck? Or I'm curious to see how they're gonna be in the future.
I would assume, since they have a lot more referees that are getting into the ring that I noticed, especially when it comes to referees that they have in NXT that are currently in training and all of that, I would assume she would probably just transition into this new role, because she's obviously dipping her foot in the water for a reason, because this is probably something that she's been wanting to do for a while. It's kind of like how Samantha Irvin wanted to leave WWE because she wanted to find some sort of like manager role, which I could easily see her doing something like that with Ricochet, just to connect the dots there, to give a little example of my reference to what I'm talking about here. But I would think that she would probably fully transition into this, because I feel like it would probably be a little bit better for her in the long run, really.
Yeah.
I agree. So now for the next news, we have Karrion Kross will be wrestling at the Chris Bey The Benefit Show, and he's not the only one that is a wrestler from a company. We also have a few from AEW and a few others from other promotions. So how do you guys feel about this? That, you know, across promotions is, you know, not really like official, but just other wrestlers that would be joining this wrestling show.
I was actually caught off guard, to be completely honest. Like,
Yeah.
when you have WWE, AEW, and TNA in like the same sentence. If it was just WWE and TNA, we would get it because of the whole partnership thing or whatever, but it's the fact that you got AEW superstars, like we'll talk about once we get into this article, like Swerve Strickland, which is a pretty big name for that company, and you also have Brian Cage also being part of that as well. Like, that's just pretty crazy to think about. Like, you can only think of your head. Like, I don't think we know what his match is. We know that he's announced for the event, but that would be pretty crazy if he's like pinned up against some AEW guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, we don't know who he's going to be facing yet. So it's like, all right. I mean, it's cool. It's great. It would be crazy. Like, hear me out with this. It would be crazy if they have him face off with an AEW guy. That would be insane.
Oh, yeah.
And then just to kind of tie it into his gimmick, too, watch he faced the AEW guy. Then the AEW guy ends up leaving the company and joins WWE. Like, just that would just be on brand with the whole Karrion Kross gimmick too. Just like, oh, I'm gonna turn code on whatever I'm up with. So that'd be cool. But yeah, he doesn't have an opponent yet, which is fine. They'll get the card worked out and all that. But it's just nice to see that the wrestling world is coming together for something very positive and something that can very much uplift the whole community as a whole. Because especially with online discourse and tribalism as it is, you kind of need moments like this in your wrestling.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I saw that we don't have in the docket, and I just want to quickly mention it that also Karrion Kross is having a movie that he, I believe, directed or was part of the project, and is going inside a few festivals this year. So I just want to give a big shout out on that. I didn't get the chance to check more details on that, but that's involving Karrion Kross, but it's not wrestling related. So I just want to put that little information in out there. Congrats for Karrion Kross to have his own little project, and also put in the festivals. I know that's very nerve wracking, so congrats to you. I've had 2 projects I've been part of in festivals this year. I just haven't said anything yet since they're still in festivals and they're not out yet in theaters. But it's pretty cool to see that.
Mm-hmm.
The other news is a company of WWE is holding 3 PLEs in Saudi Arabia in 2026. And who's excited for these PLEs? Anybody excited for Royal Rumble and more?
I'm not surprised. I mean, it's something that I've come to terms with over the years because, I mean, at the end of the day, they're in this partnership because they want the money. And you can't really blame them for wanting big money because what does this money money do? It helps fund their future projects for the company, so it makes all the sense in the world if they really want to take it. I understand the whole idea behind, we want it to go away, trust me. But at the end of the day, they're trying to make money to help them out. But yeah, I mean, I would assume, just going off the bat, we pretty much already know what these events are going to be. It's probably going to end up being the Royal Rumble, Crown Jewel, and then possibly King and Queen of the Ring if they do go there again, or something else in between or whatever. So it's all right. It is what it is. I would assume with the Netflix thing, depending on where they are, of course, I did hear that possibly whenever they're airing the event, we'll probably see it when it's live since it is streaming from Netflix.
Oh, thank God.
So
thank God.
I would assume I would probably be at work if an episode of Monday Night Raw was coming on at like 12 or 1 in the afternoon, so I'd probably just have to watch it.
Yeah. That would be commute watch for me.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, looking at the article here about it, you kind of don't blame WWE for having this deal. I mean, apparently each show they get approximately $55 million from it.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. And it's also it's also interesting to see that, like, so we're only getting 1 Saudi show this year, which is why we're getting 3 in 2026, because their contract is for 2 each year. So they're trying to make up for it in 2026 and all that.
Yay.
So they're actually going to be down $55 million this year, which I don't know how much that's going to kind of show in the product itself. Whether that's, more releases or maybe less spinny pyro for Penta and all that. I mean, they might have to just hike up the Netflix thing again.
I will say this. As somebody who works in production, as somebody who has a bit of the in and outs of, or taking the word that hopefully I don't get copyrighted from my boy Chris Van Lyke, the insight.
No, you won't. Still, dude.
The best thing I would say is the 55 million per show that WWE gets is honestly all the money that they put back on the production of these new shows they're launching as the A&E of the LFG. I keep thinking when I think of LFG, I think of Let's Fucking Go instead of Legends from Future and Greater. I think it's the name LFG.
Legends and Future Greats.
Yeah. Legend
Okay,
Future Great. We have the new one that we spoke about earlier, the Evolve, that's also coming out soon, next week. So all these new projects need to get funded, and how the best way to get funded is make everything expensive that UNW is doing. Not the best thing that us fans like, but they're doing their best way to produce all these products that we could be ingrained in the new, now, present, past, and future of WWE, where like seats of WrestleMania and other things cost expensive, but it's because there's getting all these $55 million. Pay the wrestlers, pay their insurance, pay the staff, pay the directors, the writers, the camera. All these people is a lot of money, so they have to have profit. And it sucks that we're the ones that are getting asked out. Hopefully, as long as those PLEs in Saudi are entertaining, that's the most important. Hello, chat. We see you there. We appreciate for everyone tuning in. But let's get on to the next news, because right now we're here in the greater wrestling media. And we have a new one. Why is the Rosa Bayne segment fell off last week Dynamite revealed? And I'm going to pass it to Whawkins for this one because he's giggling. He's excited to talk about this. Myself, I'm clueless because I don't know what happened.
Well, what's okay? Oh, you don't know. Oh, that's right. You weren't here last week.
Are you talking about the chair that was just not being hit or not hit? Yeah. Okay. Please explain to me because I was not here for that show, and I was
buddy.
So talk to us. What happened? What type of fuck did they do?
This happened last week, where Thunder Rosa, she went to go hit Megan Bayne with a chair, and it was just very awkward. It's almost like she didn't have to or wasn't supposed to, or like apparently it was supposed to be like, oh, Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne were supposed to roll out of the ring. No. And so this comes from Fightful. So while there was speculation that Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne went into business for themselves, Fightful Select has reported the claim within AEW, and Vash, you're going to get a real kick out of this.
Talk to me.
Is that was not the case. Instead, the segment being so awkward has been attributed to a coach/producer miscommunication in not instructing the talent where to position themselves. So therefore, the segment was discussed after it took place, and none of the women have issues working together, so everything's fine there. But following the segment, though, some within AEW expressed their frustration over Tony Khan not holding production meetings ahead of TV shows. So that's also been a rumor going around where Tony Khan just doesn't have these production meetings before these live events and all that. Yep. And I'm just sitting here pondering, wondering, just stroking my chin, stroking my neck beard, if you will. How the hell do you have a show, a live show, a broadcast show, a show that you need to practice stuff with, show that you need to make sure that things are fine with, and don't worry, we'll get into more production stuff later on when we talk about AEW. But how do you have a show like that and don't have a production meeting? Like, Vash, you work in this kind of field. How would you feel if you showed up to work and they were just like, okay, so you're going to take this camera, you're going to run 3 miles, and then run back. Okay, well, what am I shooting? Yes. Now go do it.
Chad, I wish I could express the miscommunication I have with my team member. I mean, with my boss that I have for tomorrow. Because, Chad, I was not supposed to work tomorrow. I'm going to just give you a bit of TMI. I was not supposed to work tomorrow. Sorry, I was supposed to hold for last week, but then got told last minute I'm working, and there's a miscommunication. That's why, in case you see him Vash a bit distracted while he's hosting the show, it's because I'm having other bullshit that's going on. So, well, Whawkins is like speaking to my life on a daily aspect when I'm working. Tony, if you didn't watch NXT, anybody, when me and Drop talks about later, you should know your fans. Literally will yell at you in a different company and saying Tony fumble, Tony fumble, Tony fumble. It's fucking hilarious because when you have another promotion literally calling you out, and you have your own staff, your own department of wrestlers saying that, hey, we're not happy or fan that you do this and not doing this correctly, that's not good. That's making you look like a bad leader, a bad producer, a bad CEO, a bad everything. And my question is, at what fucking point are you gonna continue having your name dragged under the fucking rug until you get a fucking, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a lightning bolt, like a light bulb on top of your head to be like, I should start improving as a person. I should start doing better bookings. I should start doing production meetings, not at 8 o'clock or 7:50. I should start telling people, hey, call time is at 3 p.m. for these people. Writers come here at 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Let's all have the script, the ideas ready by 6 p.m. the latest, so we can have some finalization at 7. We do our rehearsals, blah, 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 so we can all make a good show. And I have the most awkward, I saw the clip that Hershey was just walking around with a nail, with a chain. I'm like, who are you hitting? Who are you not hitting? Who's the ghost hitting? Who's trying to stop you? And I'm like confused as hell. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So that's my long explanation that I understand. Tony, you're fucking up. I've met producers that don't know how to communicate. I've met people asking the director what it should be going on here when the director should be answering these questions, not the producers who not should be answering this question. So trust me, chat. There's stupid people that works in the industry that should not be working in this industry.
Yep.
But Tony, you with all this money should not be in the position you are. You should be just sponsoring or producing, not booking and nothing else. But hey, Whawkins, tell me about your insight of your opinions outside as a fan. What's going on?
Unprofessional. I mean, it makes you look like a lunatic booking segments like that. Like, once Whawkins talks about AEW a little bit later, I want to make a little comment on the whole Christopher Daniels thing I saw too. So it's like all over the place. It's like something happens like at least once or twice a week.
It's like, oh my gosh, at least once or twice a week. Oh my god, that he did. Oh my gosh, like at first. Never mind. I'll save that when I talk about AEW. I'll save that for when I talk about that. So we can move. It's just comical. It's just comical, man. It's just like, again, you run this big company, and it's not like it's your first time here. You know, like I'm sure you've watched people in the back, or I mean, you would assume that you've watched people in the back whenever football games are going on.
Yeah,
that your family runs and all that. You would assume that. You would assume, hey, maybe we need to talk. We had a bit of a production meeting before we even started tonight.
Yes, we did. We always have. We always for any projects of anime we studio related. We've been in the ring for Raw, SmackDown, for Grappling the Week, for Anime Lately, Off the Bench. We always do a production meeting before we start. Not just we meet each other, be like, all right, press record or go live. No, we like, hey, how we guys doing? Anything we need to discuss? Anything we need to confirm on the document? Anything we need to do? Okay, show's on. We're good. Let's go live. Hey, the music going on. Hey, guys, Drop always tells us right before the last song comes on, hey, guys, we have 5 minutes left. Hey, guys, we have 2 minutes left. Hey, guys, do I need to push it? What's going on? Boom, boom. Production meetings are important to produce a good show.
Yep.
Hella important.
If I didn't have all these slides lined up, you'll see me like moving shit around when we're live. Because I literally have Weebs of the Ring intro, this, and then the outro. So it's just so easy for me to click on it so we could operate things smoothly.
Yeah.
Guys, if you ever have $5 million in your bank account, like Tony Khan or more, just do better things with it. Do a better option of trying to decide what you want to do with your company, other than getting your name dragged for the past 2 years and not trying to do anything better. To say.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? We have a few things to discuss. We have a few more options. Luke Gallows post-release plans revealed. And if anybody don't know who Luke Gallows is, Walkers, I'm gonna pass it to you. Who's Luke Gallows?
Oh, he's one of the good brothers. You know, he got released not too long ago with him and Carl Anderson and all that. And it turns out Luke Gallows is going to be opening an outside venture with his partner here. So, although the expectation is he will continue wrestling, Luke Gallows is also launching a business outside of the industry. So he took to his social media this week and announced that he and his wife will be opening Hankinson Chiropractic and Wellness in Locust Grove, Georgia. The business will open on Monday, March 3rd, and will offer chiropractic adjustments, soft tissue modalities, and much more. So, you know, if your back is very much aching and you're in that area, go check them out. Go give them some business and all that, because that's actually this Monday that they're opening up. But yeah, his wife's been a chiropractor for several years, so I guess she's opening up her own practice here, which is great. Yeah, I think this is a great endeavor because, like, again, you see a lot of these former wrestlers do God knows what when they're done with it. Some of them have become realtors. Some of them have become yoga instructors. You know, shout out to DDPY with all that they do. Yeah, it's just good to see that they're gonna be giving back in a way too, because like you can imagine, just like, I mean, with his name value alone, you would probably get some people that are in like the wrestling sphere going over there to hopefully, you know, get some work done on any aches and pains that they have and all that. But it's just good to see that he's also supporting his wife as well. Like, you just love to see things like that.
Good luck to Luke Gallows. Best of luck in your endeavors. I don't got much to say on my end. I agree. Yeah. Support 100% with what Whawkins said. And it's beautiful to have a tag team partner in a way where you could do something that both benefits yourself in your own skill sets, and you both could succeed, and you could just continue, you know, having time together, because maybe they lost time because of their work life and traveling and things that that they couldn't do together. Now they have the opportunity. So, you know, best of luck to them. Drop any thoughts about this?
At least he has a plan of like what he wants to do next, because sometimes they just sit inside of their house for like 90 days before they figure out what they want to do next. So it's good that he has a game plan.
Copy. Before we transition to the next news, I want to ask that anybody, since we're talking about release, and I'm not sure if I don't recall, my brain can remember what happened last week. Did anybody speak about the Sonya Deville small video she posted earlier this week?
I know we talked
I believe so.
Yeah, we did talk about her last week.
Yeah, because it was that one that I was gonna bring up, the Sonya Deville, that best of luck in her endeavor. I saw the video. For anybody that don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the 20-minute video she posted on YouTube channel, Work for Wife. And there's another one that I was gonna bring up that I'm shocked that we haven't gotten news yet, but it's because she's most likely is gonna be on the podcast this weekend. Carmella, I think was her name, Carmella, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for those that know, she posted on her Twitter that she has a lot to talk about her release and things that she has to get off her chest. And that video or podcast will be coming out this weekend, and we'll probably be covering the news about that this coming next episode 7 of Grappling the Week. So I just want to bring that up because it's pretty interesting, and I know it's going to be spicy when it comes to that, because also, you know, her husband, for those that don't know, is Corey Graves. So I'm curious to see if she's also going to drop anything there about him, since he's been on NXT. But it's really weird. I'm going to bring something about that when we come to our NXT conversation.
Okay.
So, talking about the money, we spoke about the money earlier in our news segment, right? That, you know, WE is making, you know, $555 million for these Saudi shows, right?
Yeah.
So, but there's one thing that some employees at WWE are unhappy to the budget cuts, the benefits, that things are not being well reciprocated since the merger of TKO. Yes, TKO and everything. So, Drop, I'm gonna pass it to you. How do you feel about this? The employees, the staff coming out saying that they're not too happy with the new changes, or not much improvement, as you know, as many fans thought that has been going on.
I would assume it's probably coming from a lot of the other people that's probably been with the company for like many years before the transition. So they were probably used to a whole system that was going on around this time. Because I didn't know like all of the information about this, but I assume that's where it stems off of. Because I've heard a lot of stories about people that were from that era not really feeling anything that came out of this era because of like how things are so different and they were just used to everything the way it was structured back then. And I feel like it's just one of those things where it's like you look at the talent that they have on NXT and then you look at the people that are in the company right now. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, there might be some favoritism there when those talent that they have in NXT come up and they put more spotlight on them, and then hypothetically somebody who doesn't get used to use as much on the card might end up getting, knocked down a peg or so, and then that probably means maybe less money or so, not that much screen time or whatever, which I can definitely like understand that, because when you're going through transitions, like even at my job there was a recent transition where even I was with this company for like a good 4 years now, I had to sign like a new contract with, well, not say contract, but I had to get another interview just based off of the people that were running the whole entire store now, just so they know I could match whatever standards that they had there. So I feel like it all depends on like who these people are really. Like that's why I'm making a guess. It's probably people that are like have been there forever, almost like a Miz and Natalia. Not necessarily saying them. Yeah. Probably people definitely from that era.
Yeah.
And obviously people that are normally there on top, like a Seth or whatever, they're not really worried as much. It's just people that don't get as much focus, probably don't make as much money as they used to, and don't really get as much screen time.
Well, it's also mainly like staff too, because like with the whole merger with TKO, I mean, there were some people that, and I mean, you kind of get this when you merge companies anyways, where it's like, oh, well, this person's doing pretty much the same job as this other person, so it's like, okay, well, we need to cut one of you because we can't have both of you. Like, it's things like that. It's things like, okay, well, we have to kind of take away some benefits because this company doesn't do it that way, and like we're trying to merge. Like you get this a lot with merging companies and all that. It just kind of sucks that like it's also kind of coming in between WWE how they keep touting, oh yeah, this is the biggest gate we've ever had in Toronto, or we've made so much money, and
then we have the
stuff.
partnership
like,
with TNA, so it makes you question like what's going on. Like for anybody like in media terms as well, Fox got merged to Disney, and almost 200,000 employees got literally fired, terminated in a snap.
Yeah. So like it sucks. Like, it really does suck, but like, and then you can kind of twist in the whole business aspect of them, like, trying to again cut some costs here and there, the whole jargon you hear if you do get canned because of budget cuts and all that, or being told, oh, we actually don't have it in our budget to have you on our staff, which, speaking from personal experience, yeah, that sucks when you hear that. And it's just like, but you were hiring. What? Okay, whatever. So yeah, it just sucks, and it's one of those things where it's just like you wish you were in the room where it happens and all that.
Yeah.
But we just won't be in that meeting room. We won't be able to listen to any of all that conversation. It just kind of sucks, because you don't want anybody to not make the money that they feel like they're owed. I mean, hell, some days I'm like, man, I am not paid enough for what I have to do at work. Even though half the time it's like, oh, check Dropbox, it's in there. Like, oh man.
I really feel bad for the employees that have been there the longest, and I cannot imagine the headache of the new contracts they had to deal with, TKO and everything, things that they lost, benefits, because people can understand the U.S. health insurance is not cheap. For anybody that lives in the U.S.,
Nope.
health insurance is not cheap, and if you don't get it for free,
Huh.
you're fucked. So
Yep.
when it comes
We
to
can
that,
barely afford eggs anymore.
I know.
oh my god,
Like,
eggs!
as much as I want to make omelets in the house, I can't because need to save it for actual meals.
You're gonna have to get chickens now and actually raise your own eggs.
Yep.
But hey,
Like,
if
we
you're
presume.
not if you're not buying eggs, if you're not making a scramble, guess what you could do is 2K wants to add thumbtacks to the games, and I gotta say thank you 2K for revamping Jey Uso entrance, because I saw a side comment because they also revamped that because they saw the discourse online.
Weird.
I'm like, hey, why are they reusing a Jey Uso entrance from years ago? I mean, from last year when he's been coming out from the crowd now, and then they finally did that. So, quick side comment about that. But Watkins, as our 2K player, our WE lover here, how do you think about this thumbtacks? Is this a cool thing?
Add it. Do it. Just do it. Like you guys are already having fun. It seems like with 2K25. Just add the thumbtacks. Just add them. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Like when I was playing the old SmackDown versus Raw games back in the day, or even like SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, or oh God forbid, WCW World Tour. Oh, you had WrestleMania 2000? Hell yeah, I did too. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna go and grab a steel chair and actually hit somebody. I'm not gonna do that. Put thumbtacks in the damn games, people. It'll be fun. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll just, throw Dominic Mysterio and all these thumbtacks. It'll be fine. It'll be great. Will I be wishing it was the real one? Yeah, but you know what? As I'm playing as Rhea Ripley doing it to them, it'll be fine. It'll be good. Just do it. Just do it.
They're bringing back
Just
a lot of the stuff that we expected them not to bring, like intergender matches. When did you ever expect that to be back into a WWE game? So I feel like
never.
the next step up would probably be thumbtacks.
Yeah, and please, another addition I want you guys to bring back too. Bring back the whole like Pillmanizing of the neck or the leg thing that you could do with the chairs, and also you used to be able to do concertos, like the one person concerto thing. Bring those back too.
Yeah.
It's fine. I promise you, it's fine. Just have the disclaimer, don't try this at home, even though kids are still probably going to try it at home. But guess what? It's not your fault. It's just that they're stupid.
Pretty much, yeah.
And let kids be stupid, but whatever. It's a whole other can of worms I don't feel like opening right now.
Oh, yeah.
But if you do want to open the good kind of can of worms, because we have three updates on our players, our wrestlers, our characters.
One of these I don't like.
One of them is sad. Yes, Watkins, I know. One of them is sad because we for a second got scared. We got scared for a second, but and also Vash may be going to NXT Roadblock. Just saying, for anybody that's going to be going MSS regarding for the theater, I might be going depending on funds when the time comes, because also it's kind of cheap right now. But we have updates for Randy, Jade, and who else dropped?
Giulia. I don't mind if you throw this at me to start it off.
Go ahead,
because
take the wheel.
Yeah. So, like I put in the title, because I was actually struggling to figure out what to put on the last thing, because I was originally going to bring up that thing Moose talked about in the chat about Vince starting his company, but we'll leave that to JD and the Solo Monster talking about that this week. Pretty much silly little rumor about him potentially starting a wrestling company with Fox or whatever. Not a thing, whatever. But I put in the title injury and rumor updates because where's Randy been? So it says Randy is expected to be back in the mix by March. I wonder what's in 2 days. March 1st? Okay. It says current plans for Orton to be back in WWE programming in time for the company's European tour prior to WrestleMania. Orton versus Kevin Owens at Mania seems likely. Makes sense. There's a story there.
Yep.
It's really hard to see Randy Orton not at WrestleMania, and honestly, you got KO and Sammy in an unsanctioned match. Perfect way to introduce the long-awaited punt kick What are you guys' thoughts on Randy being back potentially this Saturday?
I was about to tell you exactly this Saturday because I'm like, oh, he's gonna be back in March. I'm like, but isn't it Elimination Chamber March 1st? So technically that counts as March.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, oh, okay. I guess something got leaked that he might be there this Saturday, which I'm like, okay with. I'm not stressed about it. Like we even predicted the Weebs of the Ring here literally said it since like 3 weeks ago at least, all by Royal Rumble, that we literally said like, hey, he might be coming back for Royal Rumble. He might be coming back for Elimination Chamber to set something up. Randy versus KO at at WrestleMania. So that is something that we might get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we also got another update on Jade Cargill. This is coming from WrestleVotes. This is sources state Jade Cargill has been cleared for action. Expect her to return. The payoff to Who Done It is coming. So pretty much what we saw on Monday, to give some more context behind this, Bianca and Naomi did lose their titles. And a lot of people are saying, okay, if you're going to extend the story even further, you got to get the titles off the ladies. Makes perfect sense. They're walking into the Elimination Chamber now, which I can probably say these two Elimination Chambers this weekend are pretty unpredictable. So it's kind of hard to tell what direction they could go down. There could be a complete 180 to everything. We'll obviously talk about it later. But this could easily slot Jade in when it comes to who attacked her. It could be Bianca, it could be Naomi, it could easily be the both of them. It could be an inside project between the both of them trying to play it off. But, I mean, hey, makes perfect sense. I would expect it to be another return. We got Randy, you got Jade in the same night. I feel like it easily could get paid off this weekend. You guys have any thoughts on that? Vash, Whawkins?
No. If you don't mind, I'll speak first because I just have to do.
Go ahead because I don't really have anything. Yeah. So yeah.
For Randy, makes sense. Like I said, to drop right now, like makes sense. I agree with 100%. For Jade, perfect opportunity because you know what? If you guys haven't seen what happened this past Monday, Bianca and Naomi don't get the tag titles, so they're free to get into the Elimination Chamber. And more speculation that we have might get Bianca versus Rhea at WrestleMania 41. So we might get these type of things, but we also might have Jade intervene where we get Jade versus Naomi at WrestleMania. So we have a lot of options that things are cooking. But for Jade right now is to be determined how they set this up tomorrow SmackDown and Elimination Chamber and how we lead up to that following Monday. So a lot of things are more set up. For Giulia, look,
I didn't dive into this yet.
I don't got much.
We didn't talk about their article yet, which I was about to say.
Yeah.
So it says several sources within WWE claim that Giulia does not have any major injury, but acknowledge that there is some bumps and bruises. It is reiterated that Giulia is 100% expected to work her match against Stephanie Becker at Roadblock on March 11th. So there was a lot of discourse over the week about what level Giulia's potential injury is, because keep in mind, we've talked about a lot of stuff on the show when it comes to certain reports, and even we scratch our heads sometimes when it comes to a lot of the stuff that we hear from the dirt sheets, because you hear one thing and then it's the exact opposite, where this person is completely fine, they're able to work, a certain match that was rumored doesn't end up happening, a lot of signs pointed at so-and-so's winning the Rumble, Jey Uso wins the Rumble. So you can't really trust a lot of these dirt sheets all the time. You got to take it for a grain of salt. And for the most part, if you're watching the product, you could pretty much come up with your own judgment just based on how everything's laid out to you, which is something I did learn when I was watching JD a lot. He's like, if you take time to watch the product on a regular basis, you could easily understand what direction is going with so-and-so and a story and a match, etc., so on, without looking at a report online, which makes sense. But I'm honestly happy that she's good. She's able to compete. It could just be one of those things where it's like, let's say she was, in a couple matches, might have hit herself the wrong way or whatever. Kind of like how you're walking, you like step over a crack, you accidentally like twist your ankle or whatever. You're good another like 2 days or so. It's just one of those things. Or you trip and fall, your leg hurts for a couple hours, and then you're fine. I'm just happy that she's in good condition, because she is currently the NXT's women's champion, and she just became it like back in January. This is a big moment for her, And I'm glad that she doesn't have to vacate the title and she's able to continue her match. Sorry to cut you off, Earl. I just wanted to give context on the report first before you gave your thoughts on it.
Oh no, that's totally fine. All good on my end. I read both reports of what the one that was not clarified earlier in the day, and then the one that you just spoke about. I was gonna speak the one that you spoke about because that one sounds better. And then what people got scared for from earlier in the day, we're like, oh my gosh, she may have to vacate. All this going on. She's injured. And I'm like, people have patience first. We're hearing, like people need to understand. A source means that it's somebody from somebody from somebody from a friend that from a cousin that could have said it. That's sometimes what a source is. It's not always from the horse mouth is what you need to hear. So maybe now there's official source that we getting, hey, bumps and bruises. The only thing I'm gonna say about this is they're wrestlers. This is part of the job.
Yeah.
You can't really get away from that. As an athlete, you're gonna feel pain. Like no matter what. Like I remember when I was an athlete from the age of 12 to 23, 24 is what I consider myself as an athlete. I was always in sore pain from gym or working out or doing my sports, handball, soccer, cross country, and doing other stuff. So like you always will be in some bruise and pain. You will not heal fully because you're always gonna be working out. So you have to give rest days. That's why athletes get told for rest days. But for our girl Giulia in her shoes, she probably don't got rest days because of interviews, training. She also does, languages for herself to improve her English, and other stuff that she do in her own activities. So at the end of the day, she's an athlete. Goes on a wrestler. She's gonna have bumps and bruises. How about you, Whawkins?
Yeah, I'm just glad to hear that it's possibly not something bad. So that makes me happy because, you hear the report first and it's just like, oh no, she's on top right now. She can't be losing momentum like this. But yeah, if it's just like a few bumps and bruises, fine. Just kind of take it easy, I guess, until March 11th, and then you and Stephanie just kick the crap out of each other.
Yeah, and we'll get more insight on him later when it comes to the NXT coverage.
Yeah, there's a few things that I have to have about the NXT coverage. But hey, Chad, we have two last things to bring up. Like Drop said earlier, and like Moose said in our chat, Vince McMahon is gonna be building a new wrestling company, but we're not gonna dive into that. If you want to see other wrestlers, other podcasters and in the entertainment world of wrestling content, go check that out. Right now, we're not gonna dive too much into that because we do have one thing. Stephanie McMahon will launch her own WWE brand product. She is doing a product about her past, her upbringing of WWE, and the history and her own perspective of it. And it's going to be connected into WWE. We had one with Cody Rhodes. That was one that was only connected to WWE, but I don't think it has continued, even though I have not checked on YouTube in a while. So I don't know if they have had a recent episode in the recent months. I don't know. Anybody could fact check me or correct me on that. But Drop, I'm going to pass it to you first. How do you feel about this first official, probably, I think, a WWE brand product of a podcast?
I mean, it gives her something to do. Because you see her at the event, she's attending, she's supporting her husband, she's doing what she can for the business when she comes out. Like you saw her during WrestleMania or during the Women's Royal Rumble. She comes out there, she preps everybody before the match. So at least there's something that she could do in the meantime, because the report on WrestleVote said that a very interesting name is set to debut on the official WWE podcast soon. We don't know who that is yet. I would assume it's probably something unexpected. Somebody that you probably wouldn't expect to see there. It would be pretty cool if it's CM Punk. Would love to see him on there. But whoever it is, I'm looking forward to it. But I like how we have stuff like this, because at least this gives me something else to listen to so I can catch up on my podcast when I'm at work. Because usually on Fridays, I try to catch up to the Chris Van Vliet interviews, because he interviewed Lex Luger this week, and he also interviewed AJ Styles, so I'll be sure to check that out tomorrow. So whenever this is in motion, I'm definitely looking forward to see how it's gonna turn out. I'm hoping it's successful. I'm hoping it takes off, because it would just be nice to see her doing something, outside of what Triple H is doing, to see what she's doing that benefits her.
I agree.
Yeah.
I support 100% what you said, and also she has a good voice for podcasting. I feel like girl would be successful in it. Just depends on how they do it. Like, would it be on the road, or would it be like a studio headquarter type of thing where they sometimes film over in Connecticut? It's possibilities.
Yeah, it's all
Probably a studio thing.
Yeah. Triple H will buy
I think my one gripe with it, because when I first saw stuff going around about this earlier, because I didn't get to look too deep into it, it was sounding like it was going to be a podcast about her life, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, hold on, that would be great content and great stories to hear from her about her time growing up in the business.
Yeah.
But then you look at it and it's like, oh, it's a WWE branded podcast, which means they're not going to be able to do or say a lot of stuff. So there are going to be some things where it's like, okay, we can talk about, like, let's just say, like, oh, the Montreal screw job. We can talk about it, but there's not going to be anything that really comes out from it, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's just the one downer I think with it. Is it's like if it wasn't WWE branded, if it was just Stephanie, then I think I would have a little bit more intrigue in it. But I think it all just kind of depends on what she's going to be doing with it, because we know she's going to have that show, which is basically like WWE Cribs or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just kind of depends, I guess, what they're gonna really be diving into with these podcasts. Like, is it gonna be like a sit down thing like Cody's was? Is it gonna be like a kind of hangout session like Zelina's and Dakota's is? Now theirs isn't WWE branded from what I recall, but it's a little bit more looser. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends on what they decide to talk about.
Yeah,
with me.
Yeah, hopefully she has some pull in some way, I would assume, because she is a big part. It all depends how it's structured. We'll have to see how like the first episode is.
Exactly, and yeah, I'm really curious who the first guest would be. Like, there's a possibility it could be Triple H. They could do like a husband wife kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just some older person that she's going to interview. Who knows? We'll have to just wait and see with it.
Yeah.
Oh man, but I thought Vash was coming back. But anyways, so we're just gonna go to our last and final news segment really quickly. The possible match for Bron Breakker at WrestleMania. So speculations arise as we go into Mania season, and of course, one thing that always comes around for WrestleMania is our lovely, awesome multi-man matches, and it sounds like Bron Breakker might be the one defending his title in a multi-man match in April, and this comes from WrestleVotes during their live Q&A. I'm okay with it because I don't mind multi-man matches myself. If it's going to be a ladder match, cool, neat, awesome. But personally, I wouldn't want Braun to be in a ladder match, just because, at least not yet. And I don't really have a reason for it. I just don't want him in there. Like, the most I would want him in is maybe like a Fatal 4-Way, with
That's
him, AJ, Penta, and somebody else.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Because I mean, at this point, I'm about to call it multi-match mania, because we getting so many reports on that. Like, don't get me wrong, it works to certain people, but sometimes when you have those feuds between two people, it just hits different. Like, I don't think Cody and Roman would hit as hard as if you just threw Rock in there, like a lot of people wanted last year for whatever reason.
Yeah,
but yeah, like, I would assume if it is like Fatal 4-Way, it would probably make sense if it's like Bron Breakker, AJ Styles, because he had a little stare down with him. You would have Penta involved in the match as well. Can't really think of a fourth. Yeah, you could. Oh yeah, you could throw Finn in there as well. That could be your little Fatal 4-Way match. I feel like that's fine. I feel like, if anything, if there's like a ladder match involved, That's something I can see more with a United States title. For some reason. Like, don't get me wrong, I would rather have a one-on-one match, and it could very well turn out to be that. I mean, personally, I'm trying to push for LA to win the title tomorrow, and then possibly have a match of Hayes at Mania and put Hayes over with that U.S. title. I feel like that could be their best bet. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Like we discussed on our shows before, I feel like once you got like the other two main title matches out of the way, and then they they end up transitioning to what the IC guys doing, what the United States champions doing, I feel like we'll get a better understanding of how everything's going to be around then.
Yeah, because I could also see the U.S. title being a multi-man as well. Because I mean, they're kind of setting up there too with Nakamura and LA. There was the whole stuff with like Miz and Carmelo, so like you could throw them in there.
Oh yeah,
easily. Again, I guess it just kind of depends on what they want to do. Hell, make that a fatal 5-way. Put R-Truth in there. You know, that would be great. He could get another WrestleMania moment there.
Wonder where Jimmy's going to be factored in though.
See, that's the other thing. So maybe they could do like a 6-way and throw Jimmy Uso in there. But I mean, then again, it's just like, you know, you kind of get away from the one-on-one that he could have. But the only tie-in you have with it is that one segment where Shinsuke was just lurking in the back, right behind Jimmy and all that. So
there's part of me that really wants that Benoit and Eddie moment with him and Jay at like a night one. But we'll see how that turns out with our mid-card pictures for the men, and hopefully with the ladies down the line as well.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hey, on my end, almost say I agree with these both gentlemen. They said a fact about the Mania being a multi-man Mania. At times they questions. At this point, I'm waiting to see what happens when we're still on the road to WrestleMania and get closer to find out what is concrete or not, because it gets more questionable. But let's just get to our turnbuckle tidbits. This is a part of the show where we talk about NXT. And why do we talk about AEW? Because it's there. This is the good, the bad, and the metacore at best, aka AEW. So, Whawkins, start us off on the shit show of Dynamite and Collision. Do you even watch that one?
Well, Collision, I don't. Collision's whatever. That's on a Saturday night. I don't have time to watch wrestling on Saturday nights.
Yeah, rating's gonna be great.
But
for that.
Cool. All right. So talk to us about Dynamite. What happened on last night, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Supposedly the ratings were high from from Dave Meltzer. I always like to talk about the highlights, because even though Max, is streaming, so it's a different ratings or a different metrics. But talk to us, Whawkins.
Just look at how he tweets about ratings and all that. But whatever. That's besides the point. You know what? Dynamite was fine last night. It was okay. I mean, some highlights for me. We had this MJF Christopher Daniels segment, which, I mean, okay, on paper with him attacking Christopher Daniels and basically saying, hey, Adam Page, I'll see you for Revolution. I'm going to go train. By the way, go check on your friend. He might be a little down and out. And this is where we get what Drop was alluding to earlier with the whole production thing. Because, like, the camera cuts way too early for the moment where Christopher Daniels is still like punching his head, blading himself for the spot and all that. So it's just like, why? Again, you could have fixed this with your little production meeting and being a little more communicative with your staff and all that, but whatever. That we don't have time for that. We have time for dream matches and all that. Like this 2-minute match that started this segment for Adam Page. Like I don't get what they were doing with this. Because it's like the whole build. They even tried to have a build up for this 2-minute squash match where it's like, Adam Page is set for action tonight, but he's not here yet. He's showing up late. Literally, Adam Page comes to the arena, gets out of his truck, and just goes to the ring, has a 2-minute match with this jobber, and that's it. Then he just says, I'm not leaving this ring till MJF comes out here so I could beat his ass. It's like, you didn't need the 2-minute match beforehand.
No.
Like the 2-minute match did nothing for anybody. I mean, it got the jobber on TV. That was cool, but you didn't need the match. And I mean, the production issues aside, I thought this was at least like a good build towards their match at Revolution. I think. I mean, again, par for the course for AEW. The match is gonna be good regardless. But I do at least appreciate them like putting a good story with this, with Hangman kind of going through a redemption arc here against MJF, and MJF like being like, okay, you're not willing to go sink to the levels that I can, you know. And it's kind of in a way, it's either gonna bring Adam Page back into the fold of being a face and being that bright boy, or he's gonna succumb to darkness and all that. And that was kind of the test MJF had here. It's like, oh, are you gonna go after me, or are you gonna help Christopher Daniels? Which Adam Page helps Christopher Daniels, and that's all fine and good. And yeah, so we're gonna move on to the first actual match of the night. Will Ospreay took on Brian Keith. He took him out because what's his name? Don Callis. He's like, hey, Ospreay, you're not gonna make it to the steel cage match at Revolution. So we're gonna have people try to take you out. So yeah, let's get Brian Keith, who's part of the learning tree, to do it. Brian Keith is not beating Will Ospreay on any day or night, so you kind of know who's going to be winning this match. Again, it's just to make Ospreay look good and to start the show as always. And him and Kyle Fletcher have a little fight. Yeah.
I would like to add before you continue. The one thing I have about the pro is the bloody mess. The bloody mess is hilarious because I saw people attacking. I just want to give this comment. I saw people attacking the timeline. Why did the cameraman go? People need to understand. He's just the employee. He literally got told by the person behind him, aka the director, the AD, the assistant director, like, hey, go now. We got switched to you. All he could do in his head, he'd be like, oh, we're too soon. We're too soon. But he cannot do nothing. He cannot choose on his own. So he cannot make the choice like, hey, turn the camera to up. He could do camera tricks, yes. That's on his decision. He could do camera tricks, look on the floor, and then pan up where you can see the pain of the thing that he's poking himself, but at least pretend that it was somebody else who was dropped there. Yeah. But catching this man literally red-handed, blood-handed, while doing it, that is just bad production. No, I was very disappointed. Like while I was watching that clip, I'm like really? Like really?
Yeah.
Like really? Like really?
Yeah, but again, that's just timing and all that. But like back to this whole Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher thing. Like they end up having a fight in the audience. It's great. It's again, we're building to their steel cage match at Revolution. Cool. It was at least fine on the night. But our next segment in my little pros column here, Swerve Strickland and Ricochet's match at Revolution has now become a number one contenders match for the AEW title.
Oh God. That guy's a clown.
That laugh makes me laugh when people don't understand. By the way, if you guys talk about clip this or whatever, I'm a Ricochet fan, but the laugh is funny. I hope he's having a good time making that laugh. I don't know if it is on purpose. I don't know if that's a laugh that he does occasionally in real life with Samantha. I don't know, but the laugh is hilarious. And this man, like, it's just adding more attire to his character. It's just funny, but that's all, man.
Oh no, it definitely works. I mean, he's doing his job. People get annoyed by it. I mean, hey.
Yeah.
I mean, people are like that with sexy BJ Ray from LFG. He pretty much makes memes out of everything on the show. People are like, oh my God, I can't stand this guy. He's doing his job. If he's getting that sort of reaction out of you, he's doing his job.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's very true.
And
they're doing the job.
I mean, say what you want about his promo work too, but I mean, he's at least getting better each week. I mean, it might be like small steps for some people, but it's at least better, and you can only get better by continuously doing it, So that's why, like, if you're at least showing improvement, I'm always gonna back you up with all that. But this turning into a number one contenders match, It adds more stakes to the match. It gives, it adds more to the story too, especially with like this whole thing with like Prince Nana and like his robe and all that, and just what he's trying to get Swerve to kind of focus more on. Because like even at the end of the segment, Prince Nana kind of stops Swerve Strickland. He's like, "Hey, if you're not going to focus on getting this world title after this Ricochet business, I don't know if I can keep following you anymore. Like, like if you can't get like my thing back that I tried to get back, like I just can't do it anymore. Like I can't follow you. I can't be helping you and all that. So yeah, again, this at least adds something to it. I could see Swerve winning. I could also kind of see Ricochet pulling out another win too. It just all depends on what more do you want to see? Who do you want to see face off against Jon Moxley? With spoiler alert, that's who's going to be probably walking out of Revolution with that title, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I mean, again, a good segment from both parties and all that, just continuously getting better. We had a trios match next with the Undisputed Kingdom taking on Daniel Garcia and FTR. Now, again, I don't really watch Collision, so if I missed something on there, that's probably on me for saying this. But why the hell are Daniel Garcia and FTR together? Like, commentary tried to come up with it.
What?
Commentary tried to play off with it, saying, "Oh, they have a mutual respect for each other." It's just like, when?
Another thing I want to know is what's going on with that TNT title.
Oh, don't worry. Adam Cole's probably going to take it off of him soon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Because that's the thing. He ended up pinning Daniel Garcia in that match. And, like, it's funny. Because, like, immediately after the match, like, because they're still in the ring, Adam Cole and Daniel Garcia kind of, like, they kind of do this sportsmanship thing. Because, like, that's why this whole match even began anyways. Because, like, both sides were like, hey, we respect one another. Let's have a match to see who's better. So I was like, okay, fine, that's okay. And I mean, the match itself slapped. Like, the match was really good. So if you watch one match from Dynamite this past week, you should watch this trios match because it's really good. But yeah, it's like as soon as the match ends, there's like a minute that passes, and then I think it's Tony Schiavone on commentary. He's just like, and I'm just hearing this from TK in the back. Live now on Collision this Saturday, it's going to be Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole for the TNT title. I'm just like, you made that decision right there. You had the graphic already ready. Okay, cool, whatever, fine. There's been nothing with Daniel Garcia's TNT title run, which kind of sucks because of how they tried to build him up the past year.
It almost makes me feel in a way that it was kind of thrown in here, and I could be wrong, but it almost makes it feel like that was just thrown in his face just for him to stay with the company. And now now that he's here with the company still, he signed the new contract and everything. There's no direction with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just look at what. Correct me if I'm wrong too. It was literally like a year ago. Tony Khan was just like, "Yeah, we have high hopes for Daniel Garcia. We're gonna strap the rocket to Daniel Garcia." And I'm almost pretty sure it's exactly what you said right there.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, we're going to give you this big push. We're going to take away the sports entertainment aspect. We're going to take away the dancing thing.
Yeah.
And make you all super serious. We're going to turn you into everyone else like on the roster. It's just like, that does nothing.
Remember when Private Party won the titles and did a lot of stuff with it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
look where so fast and yet so little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But I mean, maybe they can take it off them. Maybe Adam Cole can finally do something more because like Undisputed Kingdom just kind of seem like they're there.
That's another thing because you remember in NXT they were so hot.
Oh yeah.
So like
they ran NXT.
Yeah, because you had them as like the tag champs. Cole had the NXT championships, and I believe,
I think it was Roddy.
Roddy had the North American Championship.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here because that's pretty hot top. That's a big name
Mhm.
to have in your company. It's almost like you have somebody from. I mean, you've seen what they've been doing for the people coming from AEW to WWE. They strap the rockets to them. Crazy. Adam
Yeah.
Cole had crazy potential.
It's just exactly like he is really good.
Remember when
And
him
he's
and
just
Bryan
doing
debuted?
nothing with any of them. Oh my god, yeah, that whole night that made that pay-per-view. You know? Like
Yeah.
that's all anybody talked about from that pay-per-view was him and Bryan coming in.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. But hey, maybe a TNT title run will help him out with
Hopefully.
that. Who knows? Well, immediately following after that, because hey, we can't let anything breathe in AEW. Edge and
I like how you did
Claudio
that.
Castagnoli have a fight, and this ends up leading to Edge taking out Claudio with a concerto and
Right.
almost taking out Marina Shafir with one. But then out comes Willow Nightingale because hey, remember she and Marina have been kind of having beef, even though like. We pick and choose what weeks we want to remember that.
Yes.
Cool, neat. Well, she's the one to kind of take out Marina then, so Edge's soul can feel at ease and all that. What's kind of funny with this, this is another production thing. This is another one because you watch, like, as his beatdown's going down, even before the concertos, I think it was Edge gives, like, you clearly see the sign that he gives to Wheeler Yuta to hit Marina Shafir with that running knee. Like you clearly see the sign he gives, and it's just like, oh, come on, people, we couldn't do like a camera like change before then to kind of hide that, you know. And I mean, sometimes you see it in WWE too, but like it's just one of those like kind of nitpicky things that you kind of notice, and you're just like, come on, because it was kind of very obvious. So yeah, this is just building more and more to like Edge versus John Moxley, which I mean the match is again par for the course with AEW. Match is gonna slap itself. It's just Edge shouldn't win that match.
No.
No, he just shouldn't. He just should not win that match.
The whole story if he does.
Yeah, like because that's and it's just this whole Death Riders thing just keeps going back and forth. Whether it's good or bad, and it's just like, come on, can we just like be more consistent with it? You know, like just keep the story how it should be. They want to change AEW, fine. Keep the title then. Don't do anything with it. Don't even succumb to some of these people. Well, stop letting these old people come in and try to take your shit. You know? So whatever. That's besides the point. Hey, Harley Cameron is at least on AEW Dynamite, and she beats Deonna Purrazzo in a match, so they're at least pushing her a little bit more. So hopefully they keep that form of momentum going, because she's been very entertaining. Vash, have you seen any of Harley Cameron stuff by chance?
No,
Besides
I have
what
not.
I've shared.
No, I have not. Sadly, my apologies. I have not seen too much to remember
That's
the person
fine.
name or
Mhm.
whose face that is, but I do know the next person you're about to talk about.
Oh boy. So the main event was Takeshita and Orange Cassidy for the International Championship. Now, I already went on a little bit of a spiel last week about why are we having the champion be the one to fight for the person who's going to be challenging for that title at Revolution instead of having the person earn their right to face him at Revolution. I don't know. It's kind of backwards and all that stuff. But hey, again, Dangly Keys. Oh, isn't that great? Look at this awesome match. Takeshita versus Orange Cassidy. Don't you want to see that? Doesn't it slap? Which, you know, it did. It did. There were a couple good spots in it. Some of the more memorable like character moments was Takeshita like continuously breaking the never-ending sunglasses that Orange Cassidy just has in his bottomless pocket. But there are also some very good moves in the match. Highly recommend this one too to watch. Go back and watch from Dynamite. It was really good. But again, it's just kind of weird how it's just like, okay, you're having your champion have to fight for the right to face the challenger. It's like, okay, whatever. But him and Kenny Omega, they're gonna have a field day come Revolution for that match, and I'm kind of hoping Kenny wins because Takeshita's just kind of not much of a character with the title, but whatever. No. That's besides the point. But those are all the pros. Again, a lot of stuff that's just kind of meh, but like they were on the good side of meh, and a couple like very good highlights. The couple cons, Billy Starks is probably going to be fed to Mercedes next, so hopefully you enjoy that meal.
That is, just like a certain other person that's in independent wrestling that was inspired by Bayley. This was another person who looked up to Mercedes. She was shown in the NXT Black and Gold days, and it's kind of funny how, like you said, she's going to get fed to her.
Yep, she's going to get fed to her, and then they're probably going to bring up Athena, because, hey, we're going to have our longest reigning Ring of Honor Women's Champion
Imagine that
finally on Dynamite. Oh my god. I swear, no, don't do it. Don't do it. If they end Athena's reign with Mercedes,
yeah,
we might not have a Dynamite segment anymore, fellas. We might not have an AEW segment anymore, because that might just get relegated to some shorts or TikToks or whatever, with me being like, what the fuck is going on here? Oh my god, now you just put that fear into my head.
Well, I mean, I fear everything that he's currently doing with her, because I don't have nothing against her. I understand why people feel the way about her, but I'm just judging on the overall direction, because she's been undefeated since she had her first match. It's actually about to be a year since she's been here, since she won that title. I'm just hoping.
Yeah, I hope not either. And then my last con here. The Outrunners ended up defeating Brian Cage and Lance Archer. The whole story here is between Brian Cage and Lance Archer to face Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin for the tag titles. But because those two guys came out for a bit of a distraction in the match, Brian Cage and Lance Archer ended up losing, and now the Outrunners are going to be facing off against Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin for the tag titles. And it's like, I don't want Outrunners to be fed to these guys either. You know, like, you could build Outrunners up to be like the people to take the titles from them. Instead, you're because imagine, because like they are one of the top sellers of merch in AEW.
Oh wow!
And
really
it's
nice.
like, and this goes like when you look at the numbers, they were like the only like stars in like their top 5 around just like the normal AEW merchandise you see. So yeah, it just kind of sucks that they're gonna probably be fed to these guys, because it's like you could easily build them up to be the ones to take the titles from Bobby Lashley and Co. But you know, we're gonna keep building up to the eventual big meaty man meet off that we'll have with Brian Cage and Lance Archer, and that's basically all of that. But hey, that was Dynamite. Again, a fine show. It's just there's a lot of stuff that you just kind of send in there like, okay, can we just move on? Can we move on, please? But a few good moments here and there, and some good progression otherwise. But that's all for Dynamite. How was NXT this week, fellas?
Man, NXT was a blast. I would say it was a great time watching it drop. You know why? Because we watched with a few other people that have been fans of WWE, and they was watching with us. And it was a great time to see current wrestlers there and people that plays homage to other wrestlers. So I'm going to have drop starters offers, because, like, because of him, I want to give a shout out that I always am accountable. When I watch it with him, I get to be entertained and watch it and see from the 8 to 10 o'clock the good stuff. There's one thing I wasn't a fan of, but Drop, talk to us.
Yeah, so pretty much with NXT this week, we started off with our first match that opened up the night between Stephanie Vecker and Carmen Petrovic, because Carmen was in a triple threat last week with Kalani Jordan and Jada Parker to get this opportunity against Stephanie Vecker in this week's episode of NXT. And it was a very good match between the both of them. I'm glad that when Shawn Michaels features the ladies on the television, he gives them enough time to put on a good match, showcase what they're capable of. And I thought Carmen did very well in this match, so you were able to see what she's capable of, because everybody knows how talented Stephanie Vecker is. So I'm glad that Carmen was able to hang with her, and hoping this, puts her in more opportunities in the near future. But this was a very good match between the both of them. So do you have any thoughts you want to say on this match, Vash? Because I just got to run and do something real quick, and I'll continue talking about the show.
When it comes to the match, I don't have much to say. I didn't like the end results, but we'll talk about that once Josh come back. But the match itself was a good execution. Like Job said, the match was a good 11 minutes and 39 seconds. To me, that's a good timing for Carmen to get her feet there. Practice, get in the ring with Stephanie Vecker. So that to me is a high remarks for you to be in the ring one-on-one. I like how the story continue on the side or in the backstage involving the two losses from last week, which involved Jada Parker and with Kalani Jordan. They do have a one-on-one match next week planned, but overall the match has been good and the storyline continues to progress. But let's talk about what happens next.
So we ended up seeing a segment in the back between Ariana Grace and Santino Marella, which is her father, and they were talking about TNA's first title defense on WWE television, because we ended up having a match between Moose and Lexis King later in the night, which I'll get into. And then we end up seeing Lola Vice joining in on the conversation. She's trying to look for a fight, and then Ariana understands, where Lola is coming from. So they end up having a match later that night. Ariana Grace has been on TNA for the most part, so this is her first time in a while that she's had a match against somebody, and like I said, we'll dive into that a little bit later. And then we see Lexis King run into Oba Femi in the backstage, pretty much talking about Moose and everything, because there is a match building between Moose and Oba Femi that's going to be taking place at NXT Roadblock, which is going to be for the NXT Championship. Because they are in the Garden, they put on a lot of big matches. That's a known thing within the WWE history. When it comes to the Garden, they always like doing a lot of big shit. You even see it on the regular main roster shows, and you get those big moments like when Paul Heyman got taken out by the Bloodline. That was in Madison Square Garden. They always have special shows because that's a very special place to them. But then we end up getting that match between Moose and Lexis King, and I was actually pretty surprised to see what Moose was capable of in the ring, because I don't really watch that much TNA, but I did know that Moose was a powerhouse. But seeing him go on the top rope and doing these kind of moves out of the blue, like I said, he probably does that consistently within TNA, but I don't normally see him do that because I normally just watch AEW and WWE throughout the week. So seeing him move around in the ring caught me off guard, which gets me excited for whatever him and Obafemi lock with each other. And also, this was a match for Lexis King in his hometown, which was nice to see the both of them have a match in the ring for the TNA X Division Championship. And I thought this was a very good match between the both of them. Moose ends up retaining. Doesn't really make any sense for him to lose it before the match between him and Obafemi. Do you have anything you want to say about this match?
Yes, I do. Two questions. One, can anybody correct me on the clarification? Is the TNA X division belt, is that the highest for the men's, or is that like our version of the US title type of thing? Is that like the mid card title, or what does that classify as?
That's pretty much their mid card title over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong too with this drop. It did kind of start as TNA's answer to the cruiserweight division.
Yeah.
Because they did have like a lot of high flyers. I mean, hell, one of the first champions was AJ Styles back when he was like 20 something.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, dude.
This title's
Wow,
been around
that's
since
just
like
wow.
2002. It's been down there for ages.
Oh wow. So that's good to know because I was curious about it because makes sense, you know, on the mid card versus mid card, but then now we're trying to get Moose higher up there. Like Drop said, I wasn't aware too much of Moose and his character. I've seen clips of it that was leading up to this, and the match was way much better than expected. And it was definitely has been an entertaining match overall. Lexus King, congrats to him because he actually has been doing a lot better and improving in himself.
Yep. So then we ended up getting a Shawn Spears promo. This is pretty much just building to the match between him and Tony D'Angelo that's going to be taking place next week because they've been feuding for a bit. We had that whole turn. If you guys remember the night that Ricky Starks showed up at NXT, there was actually a main event there where they ended up having that cage match, and you ended up seeing Izzy Dane, which was aligned with Tony D'Angelo around that time, but she ended up turning heel, aligning herself with Shawn Spears and his crew. So this is pretty much just them building into their feud between one another.
My question to you, Drop. I don't have anything to comment about this. I have a question. How do you feel about Tony D'Angelo's reign so far as NXT?
It's nothing special because it's ever since Tony D'Angelo beat Obafemi for that title. I mean,
it fell flat, right?
I mean, the main reason why the match was booked was just to move Obafemi to the next step, which was the NXT Championship, the main title on that brand, because everybody knew as soon as he broke the record, he was going to drop that title and move on to the next thing. And you would expect Tony D'Angelo to take what Obafemi did with that title and carry it on, similar to how Gunther did with the Intercontinental Championship when he had like Sami Zayn and Bron Breakker and Jey Uso and all of them. But he hasn't really done anything special for the most part. You know, he's had matches here and there, but it's pretty much just backstage segments, you know, building into feuds and then having a match of like 2 to 3 weeks down the line in the month. So it's honestly hasn't really been anything special. As a performer, he's great. He has the charisma. Yeah. He can work in the ring. Nothing's wrong with that, but the overall booking of that North American Championship on the men's side now, it's not really drawing any eyes for me.
Copy. I'm okay with that answer. I like that. The next thing that we got was the Roxanne Perez and Jordan Gray's little snapback little promo there. Threw her off the ring. A little nip slip almost came out. I was like, goddamn, be careful, wardrobe malfunction. And I love how
she had some tweets about that.
Yeah, she tweeted that. She was
just like, I gotta make sure I wear something different because like I guess something similar almost happened to Carmen Petrovic. Because she had a tweet too earlier this week, like, hope you guys enjoyed the gear because it's never gonna be worn again. I'm like, oh, what did something did almost happen. Oh no.
Yeah.
Those are things that you happen. Hey, things happen. Just fans. Honestly, I'm gonna say straight up, just don't be creeps. If it happens, respect it, have a little fun, and then after that, you move on. The wrestlers, entertainers, we things happen on live TV. But I would say the one quick thought I have about the segment, it was entertaining. Jordan Grace, I love how she spoke that she's a juggernaut, that she came in as a stampede and she's not gonna stop, and she came in to change the energy, the levels of NXT, and she's not wrong. So that's one thing I really am excited about. That the one snapback comment that she told to Roxanne, like, how is this your woman division? I don't see a belt on you. That was one of my favorite lines. Yeah. Other than that, Drop, any other comments about this overall segment for you?
More than likely, this is just going to build into a match between the both of them. I would assume I would assume Roxanne's not winning this. This is just probably a few more matches Roxanne does until the meantime. Because you also got to
Well,
keep in mind, we talked about releases when it came to WWE and how they didn't have plans for them when they headed up on the main roster. So it makes sense at least for Roxanne to have some things going on in NXT in the meantime before they factor in what she's doing in the main roster outside of the Bayley program. Like, they need to have a game plan for her outside of the Bayley program. So once she beats Bayley, because it's more than likely the end result of that program, you got to make sure that she fits somewhere else. Not saying that she's going to get released, but like we spoke about before, you bring these people up, you got to have game plans for them. Don't just have them sitting in the background, because they could be in a better direction. But
Yeah.
I agree. There's a good choice, and I think Jordan Grace will win the next match since
likely.
Roxanne Perez won the first one last year for the title. So this one for non-title is Jordan Grace.
Yeah. So the next segment we did have was Javon Evans. In the back, he was talking to Trick Williams, and Trick Williams has been on a spiral ever since he lost the NXT Championship. He's recently been feuding with Eddie Thorpe. They still have things going on between the both of them. Hopefully we get past that, because I'm not really feeling that right now. The only thing I'm really feeling is like the whole character change between Trick Williams right now, because he's a little more edgy. It seems like they might possibly be teasing some sort of heel turn with him. Even Carmelo Hayes commented online when people are making posts about the way that Trick has been lately. People are like, maybe Mello was right when it came to him calling out Trick for all that stuff in the past, and now everything's starting to unfold now. So it could be something that they're planning to do with Trick to spice up his character. He has been a heel before. He started off as a heel at Carmelo Hayes when they were paired together, when they were starting to run up NXT originally. And him and Javon ended up getting in each other's faces. And then you had Ricky introduce himself to Trick, and it's just the whole vibe that Ricky's feeling there. You know, you see like a lot of fights breaking out here and there or whatever. And I also saw a theory that a couple people were bringing up where they think Trick could possibly be the leader behind this new group that's taking charge, because one of the first people that they did attack was Obafemi, and Obafemi is the very reason why he lost that title to begin with.
That's not a bad shout.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. I saw that theory as well on the timeline, so I agree on that theory as well, Drop. When it comes to Ricky, I love how he came in, tried to give the hand. He said, "Nah, I'm good." Trick walk away, because Trick and Jay was about to square up, but Ricky coming in, he stopped that. But I love how Ricky said a comment saying that, is everyone angry here on NXT? Like is everyone just mad during that show? And I just love that, because if anybody don't know this, most of everyone was on an 11 on the whole NXT. Jada, Karrion, everyone just square up. Lola, we had Stephanie and Giulia having their match that I can't wait for to bring up soon. So there's a lot of things that I like that Ricky's saying and knows how to bring up. So
yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
So the other match we had was the Hardy Boys versus the No Quarter Catch Crew of Charlie Dempsey and Ren Sinclair. This was a pretty good match, mainly because the Hardy Boys were back on WWE television. They have merch coming out. I'll throw in the other report I saw in here earlier that there is plans for them to have some involvement on the main roster, so they could possibly be getting into programs with a couple people on the main roster. I'm hoping one of those things outside of the tag matches could possibly be something with Jeff and CM Punk. That's something I would definitely love to see revisited in like modern times, but it's nice to see them there. They definitely look like they haven't lost a step, and I just liked seeing them there, having this match, and it was just pretty much like a really feel-good moment just to, just see them together, because even though they've been in different companies like TNA, but like the most part, like throughout the career outside of WWE, that's been their home. They've been in AEW for a little bit, but they've always been known as like WWE guys. So I like how with this partnership, it's giving them opportunities to be a part of WWE once again and able to seeing, what they've been up to for people that haven't seen them over the years.
I'll say this match was fucking phenomenal. The Hardy Boys, Gade, that man, Jeff just doing the whole dance coming out just felt so genuine. Miles Bourne, you're not Randy. The chants were hilarious. That's honestly
You're
the chants
not Randy.
that
And
that show's hilarious.
And they also have a match set up for. They have a match against Fraxium at Roadblock for the TNA Men's Tag Team Championships.
Yes, that was announced. Interesting. A lot of things are kicking off for Northwest regarding a lot of matches and belts. That's why I'm gonna do my best to attend that event. And I really like Miles Bourne. For those that don't know, Miles Bourne is the actual real name of Randy Orton. So for those that don't know, it's very, in a way.
It is.
I
don't.
It's similar
so.
from what I did my quick research a couple of days ago. That is Randy Orton's real name.
Oh, it's Randall Keith Orton.
Randall Keith.
I guess the information I read was wrong, but either way, for Miles Bourne to have a similar athletic style like Randy, and people in the chat to say you're not Randy, and even on Twitter, him saying that he doesn't hear voices, but I love how he's playing along with it. He knows how to play to the character and everything else.
Mm-hmm. So we ended up getting a vignette with the family again. They were obviously responding back to Sean Spears throughout the night. And then the Don said that he understands where Stack is coming from and he's looking out for the family and that he has to fight Sean Spears. So, that's the next program that we got there. And then the fourth match was Lola Vice versus Ariana Grace. Like I said, first match Ariana Grace was a part of on here for a while. Lola Vice ends up getting the victory. No surprise there in the slightest. And
I don't got much to say about that. It's a squash match. Lola Vice was obviously winning.
Yeah, and then we ended up getting our main event when it comes to Ricky Starks and Javon Evans versus Ethan Page and Wesley. And this was a really great match, really great showcase for Ricky Saints when it comes to his first match ever since he had that tag match with Big Bill back in AEW, like on televised events. And I thought they did very well with his theme song. It definitely felt like they were leaning towards how it sounded in AEW. So I like how they had that presentation with them. I definitely like that direction. I understand how people feel with the whole thing in the beginning where he says, "Welcome to the revolution," and then you hear that stuff afterwards. But I feel like we're going to have to get used to that for the time being before this whole problem gets solved with the Def Rebel group, and then we'll probably transition away from that. But as a theme song, when it comes to the people they bring over to AEW, they definitely been giving them some special treatment there. And like Vash alluded to earlier, there was Tony Fumble chats. It was shown within the match itself that Ricky was trying to prevent himself from smirking within the match itself. Because of what he was hearing. Obviously, he had to keep it professional and pay attention to what was happening within the match itself. And we ended up seeing Ethan Page and Devon Evans take off, and they were fighting outside the arena out to the backstage. So more than likely, I would assume that program is continuing between the both of them, and we'll probably have a feud between Ricky Saints and Wesley, which I'm completely okay with. I feel like that's a pretty good feud for him to start with this match.
I agree on that. The main event was well succeeded in that department. To me, it showed the first match of Ricky Saints. In my head, I have to always slow down because in my head, I'm like, Ricky Starks. And I'm like, no, Ricky Saints. Ricky Saints. The match was good. I'm excited for Wesley to continue working. I'm glad that he had a main event, since I know Wesley was, for some people, now we're a big fan on his heel turn. But before we transition out of NXT, I want to quickly talk about the thing I'm mostly upset about. We have, not sure it's fully confirmed, but we have Giulia for the NXT title, champion versus champion for the North American title. I want this to know, is this a confirmation that is this for, unifying the titles, or is it just whoever wins gets both?
Never said that.
Yeah, no.
I don't know where people are hearing.
It's
this.
for both.
Yeah, I don't know where people are hearing this whole unification rumor. It was never.
I
television.
I saw it on the timeline, and I was a bit confused because you and me saw this, and I'm like, that was never said once. So I was a bit thrown off. I'm like, what's going on here? That's one.
Just chill out, people. We're not getting rid of a title unless they say we are. But so far, all they've said, it's both. It's for both titles, you know. So
I feel like this match of Stephanie and Giulia, is too soon. I wonder if they're trying to set up something for Stand and Deliver, or trying to have one of them call up. So that it's for me, it's too soon. 3 and last one before I pass it to Drop is. I don't want neither of them to win. I like how right now they're holding their own titles, and I don't want them to hold a 2. Not yet. To me, I don't see this in future. Yeah. I would like maybe Roxanne or Jordynne Grace interrupt the match, and then it just goes to a DQ, and then we have a triple threat for Stand and Deliver or something like that. But right now, for me, I'm not looking forward to it, and I'm not too happy with this decision. So, Drop, talk to me. How do you feel about this? I know you've been on the long run for this.
So I'll say this, you answered a lot of the questions that you had issues with when you were talking. That's why I was laughing a little bit, because this is exactly what this is doing. This is building to the triple threat between Giulia, Stephanie Becker, and Jordynne Grace, which is why we ended up seeing the 3 of them in the middle of the ring towards the end of Vengeance Day. That's going to be your match at the NXT Stand and Deliver. More than likely, it's probably just going to be for Giulia's title. This is just to get that adrenaline rush, just to see these 2 in the ring. Because, like I said earlier when we first started talking about the NXT coverage, they're in Madison Square Garden. And when they have events at Madison Square Garden, they always do wild and crazy shit like this. This has been a recurring theme for ages outside of NXT. Like, you go back and you look at things in like the early 2000s, or even stuff that happened in the 90s or whatever, they always had matches like that really pop the crowd. And you also got to look at it like this. They have the Hardy Boys on there. They're a draw. Giulia and Stephanie, when it comes to how the women's division is focused on NXT television, that's a draw. And when you put like 2 big matches on there, that's going to draw a lot of attention. So that's mainly the reason why they're having this match on here. There's no unification. Giulia and Stephanie aren't going to be dropping either belt, especially with that report that we discussed earlier that Giulia is still able to continue going and she's not going to have to vacate the belt or anything. It's just to get these 2 in the ring to build to that match. And more than likely, I would assume Jordynne Grace would probably take place in this. I don't really see Roxanne, because Roxanne still has that whole thing going on with Cora Jade where she keeps throwing shots at her for whatever fucking reason. I'm not really sure. But, well, I know what's going on there because they have a long history within itself. It's almost like a Sasha and Bayley situation with them. But that's basically what it is. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. And I would just wait to see how it plays out, because we still have a couple more weeks before that event, so we can get a better structure. Because like look at how like the Rock segment was on Friday. It caught a lot of people off guard, but then once the 3 of us sat down here and we were making all these different theories, we're like, okay, the execution was a little weird, but once we started to digest it and understand where this could take John Cena, where this could take CM Punk if they become corporate or whatever, to tie into a storyline with Cody Rhodes, then it kind of made sense of what they're doing. But at the end of the day, it's just a big money grab match. That's all it really is. So I wouldn't worry too much.
And especially the Punk thing you mentioned, but we'll probably talk about that here in just a minute.
Yeah, which actually
But hey, chat, we spoke about NXT, we spoke about AEW Dynamite, and, briefly sprinkle some collision because, it's on the Saturday. Who watches that? But if you already heard our Dynamite, our NXT, our news coverage, our turnbuckle, now we're here for our hot topic. And usually we have a main topic discussion, open discussion with the crew, with the panelists. But for tonight, since this Saturday is Elimination Chamber on March 1st, we're going to be talking about predictions. And right here is the bigger the bigger discussion piece for the episode where we dive deeper into the news piece. And this time is the Elimination Chamber prediction. So the first one is Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton. Oh my God, I just noticed they're both TSTS and they're almost
I just call it
back
Trish
to back the same. Wow, I just noticed. And I'm glad I didn't
Have
butcher
fun with
that.
that.
Versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Whawkins, who do you choose?
Look, it's Trishy Tiffy time, baby. Tiffany needs the momentum going into WrestleMania big time.
Against the Evil
she's
Witch.
been on the bottom end of this Nia Candice LeRae beatdown.
And from Charlotte.
Hopefully and with Charlotte just looking on, being on like, woo, I'm Charlotte, woo. It's like, all right, cool, neat. Time for Tiffany to kind of pull out a big one. And, having Trish Stratus as your partner too, pretty dang good. And, I mean, Trish hasn't disappointed at all when she's come back in the ring. I mean, her match with Becky was really good in that steel cage. But, yeah, I don't see them losing here. And hopefully we can just finally end this Nia Jax saga that we've been on for God knows how long.
Yeah.
Drop? You?
I'm gonna come out and say it. Probably Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton more than likely winning this match. Like Whawkins said, you gotta have that momentum heading into Mania, especially as the champion. That's the most important thing to do. And I'm really hoping, once we move past this, we can start getting things on track so she could prove to Charlotte, why she's in the position that she's in.
Exactly.
All right. Me, I support them as well. Trishy time. That's all. They said exactly. I'm tired of seeing our girl, Tiffany, going down on the bottom where Charlotte feels like, oh yeah, I'm on top. Like, yeah, it is what it is. But hey, we got Trishy time. We're gonna get them together. By the way, a big shout out to Trish Stratus and Tiffany. They know how to make a good combination. They're merch selling already. They look like fucking damn sisters or cousins out here in the promos and photo shoots. So congrats to them. But hey, we got an non-sanctioned match by WWE, and it's Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Drop. Who's your go-to?
I'm actually torn between this one because it could really go either way. Because like for Sami Zayn, it could give him an edge because Kevin Owens could just be going down even more of a downward spiral and end up costing himself the match because of it. But at the same time, I don't know if I see Kevin Owens losing 2 back-to-back PLEs. So I'm gonna say KO. Yeah, I'm gonna say KO's gonna win the match. He's gonna be able to pull it off, and then that's when you see some shenanigans play in the end where you get a returning Randy Orton. Because it could also be one of those things where he's celebrating, he wins the match, but then he continues going, which more than likely he'll continue to do. He'll win the match, he'll continue going, and then that's when you get Randy Orton returning. I'm gonna even like predict a punt kick. You're gonna get a punt kick out of this to really build to their match at WrestleMania.
Word.
This could easily be match of the year candidate too.
That's a possibility. For me, I'm at this point, my answer is KO as well. Exactly what Drop said. One of the main things is because that he lost the most recent PLE, and if we're gonna get a match of KO versus Randy, KO needs to build up. Randy is a well-established person. For him, win-loss ratio doesn't matter. But when it comes to story-wise, we need to have KO build up to versus Randy, and then from there we can have a different conversation. But for Sami and KO right now, as much as I want Sami to win because he's an underdog, he knows how to present the story, catch the acting, the emotions to us across the screen. But I think KO needs his win for him to feel justified. But like Drop said, KO could also cost himself the match and have Sami win, but also continue to do something where Randy could intervene. So many things can happen. But right now, on paper or technically on the digital, KO. How about you, Whawkins?
Yeah, I agree. The whole KO, like what you guys have been saying. The only other things I would add to it is with the story going into it, Sammy's not 100% with that neck of his.
Yeah.
kayfabe obviously with it. So I can't imagine a not 100% Sami Zayn pulling out a win against Kevin Owens. I just can't see it. It's a lot like, I can't see a 50% Rock Lee defeating a Madara Uchiha. Like that just ain't gonna happen. Now that's a bit of a big discrepancy there, but the point taken with that. The only other thing too is with the Randy Orton thing. Like I could see it too, how he comes out like after the match, tried to stop Kevin and all that. I think we'll get the tease of a Punk kick.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get the actual Punk kick until Mania, but I think we'll get the tease of it.
Yeah.
Just because again, we got to build up to their match at Mania, and taking out Kevin Owens so early with something so devastating as a Punk kick. Let's hold off on that until Mania, but yeah, I think we'll get the tease of it at least.
Yeah, we get the tease of it. That's fine.
Mhm.
All right. Chat, if you'd like to get a tease, we're about to get 4 matches on the Elimination Chamber, but then we have a whole segment. Who knows how long this one lasts? Will Cody's soul be given to The Rock? Would he be sold in the item box, or would it be returned? And then we have issues. For me, chat, I must say, like Kratos, like a boy Watkins says all the time.
Stealing it.
No.
Stealing Watkins. You're stealing Watkins' catchphase.
Yes, I am.
You gotta try to get the deep, bassy, raspy voice with it. No. Like, yeah,
So is that your answer as
it
well?
ain't happening. Yeah, nah, it ain't happening. Whoever's winning the chamber, which we'll talk about here in a minute, whoever's winning the chamber is gonna be the one that The Rock is gonna be corporizing. But
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
gonna come out and say no, because
okay.
it goes against Cody's character completely,
Mhm.
especially the way that he's built himself up over the years, and especially, I mean, look at how he came back to WWE. That whole struggle to get to where he is. It really contradicts everything if he decides to align with The Rock, because if you think about it realistically, he's already got it. I mean, he's a champion. He connects with the fans. He does all the press. He does this or that. He's got everything. He's on television doing these interviews. I mean, what really else is there to? I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just hard for me to really accept Cody Rhodes taking like cheat codes to, I'm gonna win this match regardless. Yeah, you might pin me, but I'll still win the match or whatever kind of fucking shenanigans The Rock will try to pull out of his ass. So
my question is,
no.
Before we transition to the next 2, which obviously that's 2 matches at Elimination Chamber, because I know those are big ones. So I have a big question. So why you guys predict your choice? My question is, does anybody here and chat have a theory of what the repercussion will be for Cody once the final boss says, where are you getting no? Do you think we will find out an answer that night, or do you think he will be like, okay, cool, and then walk away and we find out the results like next week or something?
You know what? I'm gonna come out and say this. I feel like maybe this happens after the men's Elimination Chamber match.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think about it like this. Wouldn't you guys think it would be kind of underwhelming if this closes out the show? Because it very well could close out the show, because it's The Rock. This is the same guy that wanted to close out NXT for no fucking reason that one night. So it's
also close down.
Yeah, so would
the
you guys
bloodline on
yeah, so it's
Bad Blood.
Yeah, so it's like, would you guys really be surprised if this closes out the show?
No, you're right. You're 100% right.
So you would think realistically, if Cody says no to The Rock and walks away, that'd be kind of underwhelming. Oh no, underwhelming. Get the little credits thing, and then we hop on here and discuss the show. That's underwhelming. So what I personally see is Cody says no, obviously, and I feel like you'll probably get some sort of beat down with The Rock. He's probably gonna carry on that fucking belt or whatever he has on his arsenal. And then I feel like whoever's a part of that Elimination Chamber who wins it, you find out the answer there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we could.
You
yeah,
could.
yeah. But
You got to do something.
Quick transition then. Since we getting to the Elimination Chamber conversation, let's talk about the men's. Who do we think will be winning the men's Royal Rumble that could add a ripple effect we have Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, the John Cena farewell tour, Seth fucking Rollins, CM Punk, and Damian Priest. Who do you guys think will be the catalyst? Yeah, because we're talking about the soul. So I'm hosting the show. I'm gonna do what I want, and we're gonna get and skip, pass over, jump. We're gonna talk about it, and Vash is gonna go first, and he's gonna say the best in the world, CM Punk, will be winning the Elimination Chamber. That's my choice. Yes, Sydney, that's my choice, CM Punk. I hope you like it. How about you guys? What is your choice? Who is your choice out of these 6 men will be the one?
Well, it's really a toss up between 2 guys. It's really either going to be Punk or Cena, realistically, because like all the other guys kind of have other things possibly going for them. And I mean, you could have a story with each of them, but really the main ones are Cena and Punk. And I mean, as much as this is the year of the Cena agenda for getting number 17, I think that's just going to be the story of the year, is him constantly trying to get 17. Yeah. And I don't think he's going to get it till like later this year, possibly SummerSlam time.
I've said that, yep.
And so with that being said, I'm going with Punk. And I mean, it's crazy because I know Drop, you and I kind of had a discussion about like Punk becoming corporate, but I mean, I keep going back to those words he said. He's not here to make friends, he's here to make money.
He even said something on Monday about being the devil too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like he could easily turn corporate, and
you're so to the devil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one thing I've kind of noticed too, there's at least with the character of Punk, there's a lot of hypocrisies when it comes to him as a character.
Yeah.
With like what he fights for, what he's all about, and then just like what he does and says and all that. Like there's a lot of stuff where it's like contradicting himself. He's like being a very big company guy, when like back in the day, what made him really popular, what made him like the voice of the voiceless, was just that he was that person that was speaking out for the people that could not. He was the person that was always standing up for the ones that were down and all that, the one that was fighting the system. But now he's come back, and he's kind of the system now. And what better way to make him more of the system than turning him into corporate man Punk?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be Punk.
Yeah, I'm saying CM Punk too, because I just feel like it makes the most sense. Like especially like, going off of what you said, and also what he said to Cody during that interaction they had at one-on-one, where he's like, "I'm not gonna stab you in the back, I'm gonna stab you in the front." It's like, why do you keep teasing these segments between him and Cody? You could even tie this story into last year when they had that whole segment with each other before the Royal Rumble about, and all of a sudden some guy's gonna come out of nowhere, stay to your spot, do this or that. For all we know, they could easily tie that into what was said last year, to what was said between them this year, to their overall WrestleMania build, because I think they did something recently with Seth Rollins, where they even tied things that happened with him all those years ago with Cody, and that whole entire segment to really build off the whole entire "will you sell your soul to The Rock" sort of ideal thing. So I definitely feel like it could happen, because if you think about it as well, look at Stone Cold. He was someone that was whooping Vince McMahon's ass for years on end. He did whatever the fuck he wanted. He didn't care. He kept breaking rule after rule. He did whatever the fuck he wanted. And just like a lot of these people love CM Punk, a lot of people love Stone Cold for the very same reason, because he did whatever the fuck he wanted as well. And that's also why CM Punk has that famous pipe bomb that really changed wrestling and really made him to be where he was, because of him sitting on top there and getting everything off of his chest. And I honestly feel like it would be like a crazy plot twist to have CM Punk align with The Rock, going up against what he does. You look at what him and Rock had between each other. The Rock stealing his WrestleMania main event, the stuff he said about The Rock's storyline, of course, and then just looking at everything that he's up against. It's like, becoming friends with like your enemy and stuff just to get yourself at a higher power. Seeing how desperate he is to get that main event. He lost his chance last year. Now he has an opportunity to get it. And at least with him qualifying for this, I know people are going to throw up the thing where it's like, oh, well, if he wins this match, then he automatically gets a shot with Cody. Sure, but you can expand beyond that. Because you look at it like this, you got a guaranteed shot with Cody. Okay, you got that favor with Paul Heyman. From our point of view, it could be one of those things where it's like he gets the title match, but also, hey, Heyman, can you get me into that whole entire thing with The Rock? That whole corporate thing?
Well, see,
that whole getting
whatever I want? The thing is, too, with it, because, like, and this kind of goes into fantasy booking, too, with it, but it's like, I'm glad you mentioned something with, like, The Rock taking Punk's WrestleMania moment, like, his main event and all that, because, in a way, aligning with The Rock is getting The Rock to pay that back. It's like, okay, you know what? True. You did screw me out of my WrestleMania main event. Now you can just give it back to me. And with the whole Paul Heyman aspect of it, the favor could easily be, hey, Paul, because here's another thing. We can kill many birds with this one stone here, with this one rock, if you will. The whole favor with Heyman, easy. Hey, Heyman, leave Roman, come with me.
Yep.
And so now you have corporate Punk who's aligned with The Rock, now taking the wise man from Roman Reigns, and in turn you're kind of building to that Roman Rock eventual match that we'll end up getting. So it's like you can kill so many birds with this stone here, and like you can build upon these stories. Like this is exactly what the Bloodline story has been doing for the past few years, even beyond just the Bloodline. You've had characters like Punk, Drew, Seth, Cody, like beyond the Bloodline, but because of the Bloodline, they've done things that haven't either been good or have been really good. Hell, KO's whole crash out has been because of the Bloodline. Was he directly involved in most of it? Not really at this later stage of it, but because of people like betraying him, like Cody and Sammy, it's
Drew
led
also.
to him. Yeah, Drew also. It's like it's led to them crashing out and all that, and like that. See, that's the great part about the Bloodline storyline. It's like, and that's what makes your universe so much better, is when you intertwine these stories. You don't forget your history, even if it's past, present, or way in the past and all that. So yeah, there's just a lot of layers to this Punk.
Though one thing I also like to add before transition to the last match of the night is that, remember how last year we had the press conference of WrestleMania last year for WrestleMania 40, and CM Punk was with Big E and I believe Michael Cole on the announce table right before they were getting to Roman, Cody winning, and all these questions going on. CM Punk brought up, like, remember The Rock when he stole my opportunity a couple years back? And The Rock he heard this. So this could be everything leading up back to it. We might get a video package. All those things are being said for a reason. Maybe CM Punk chose to say it, but also he like, good thing we may use that next year or some shit. Those are all key points.
I also saw something being brought up from the O'Shea Jackson interviewer where he's like, oh, Punk, everybody loves you. He's like, talk to me in 6 months, and we're starting getting around that date.
And
we're starting get around that date when that interview took place as well.
I believe the O'Shea Jackson interview was, I believe, in early January. So that makes sense. So
it was sometime last year.
Yeah. Damn.
Last year.
Damn, time fly fast. Yeah. So shit, we're about to get into 6 months then.
And also, just to add like something else, this
go ahead.
Even like the whole like Punk and the whole Rock and Roman thing. This also could tie into like the whole Summer Punk. You could possibly get even a Roman. At least Roman now has a legitimate reason to have shit with Punk outside of things. You can't just go off of things said in the past, really. Like, we get it's there, it's going to be mentioned, but you need a bigger angle than that. And I feel like that
news stories
as well. Yeah.
So, but you know what, chat? talking about new stories, talking about new revolution, we had the last thing, and it's the woman elimination chamber match of Bianca Belair versus Naomi Glow, Roxanne Perez, Bayley, and Alexa Bliss versus Liv Morgan for the elimination chamber for the number one contender of versing Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 41 for the women's world heavyweight title. And I'm gonna go first. My choice is Bianca or Liv as a safe choice. I'd love to say Alexa Bliss or Bayley, but I think it's Bayley. Probably will have a match with Lava Raquel or somebody else or probably Roxanne Perez at WrestleMania or Sunday Live or something like that, depending on where the next couple weeks go. And Roxanne Perez is too soon for you to go WrestleMania, so I'm sorry about that. You gotta hold your choice. Gotta hold your horse, the Prodigy. And Naomi, you might be having something versus Jade. That's my guess, because maybe you're the culprit. So it might be Naomi versus Jade at WrestleMania or something. So my two choices is Bianca and Liv for safe choice. How about you guys?
So I'm gonna say Bianca. Like I get the whole Liv thing, and I'll tap into that as well. But I'm gonna say Bianca only for the time being, because she did say whenever that match does take place between Rhea and Io Sky, she was gonna stand and watch it. So I don't know if that was a slight hint that she would possibly be the one to come out of this match. But I also know for like quite some time now they've been wanting to do this. Am I a fan of this approach? No, I do not want Bianca and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 41 this year. I feel like they need a lot more time there to build a match like this, because this is a big money match. I don't know if you could really nail everything together when it comes to the overall match happening. Like, yes, you got a month and a half to really build to it, but I feel like you need a lot more. And to me, it's just like a little weird just to have Bianca involved in a championship match of Rhea Ripley with this whole Jade Cargill story going on. Because you even have Bianca mentioning, oh, well, Jade hasn't responded to any of my texts or anything. But I'm putting Bianca there because I just feel like it just feels like that's what they're going story-wise. But I would be more than happy to be wrong. But to tap on the whole Liv Morgan thing, that's another potential thing as well, because Liv Morgan loves causing a lot of mischief. She loves getting people under their skin. And I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if she continues doing what she's doing. She has these tag titles, and then hypothetically, if she wins this match, you could easily screw over that match between Rhea and Io. And I guess in a way, you could really tie in that whole entire thing of Io getting inserted in a triple threat, which again, I'm not really a big fan of a lot of these multi-matches, but again, it's really unpredictable where it could go. So I could see Liv Morgan, but I'm going to stick with Bianca for the time being. Roxanne Perez and Bayley would probably cancel each other out because Bayley does want to give Roxanne her first WrestleMania match. And if I was going to say something else with Liv Morgan, I could easily see a program being built between Liv and Alexa within this match, considering that they have the tag titles now. So you could easily have Liv and Raquel against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross at WrestleMania, considering that Liv did eliminate Alexa at the Royal Rumble, so you would expect they would cross paths within this match again. You could get something out of that. But I don't know. It's really telling. You can see JD involved with this match. You don't really know. It's hard to predict.
Yeah, because last year we had AJ Styles fly in and fight Logan Paul, so we could have somebody else, come in, Jade Cargill fly in and try and interrupt that match too. So it's a possibility.
Yeah, because you always have one of those things where like the cage opens up, someone gets in. I know, like AJ. I think AJ attacked LA Knight last year.
Oh yeah, my apologies. I did say Logan Paul.
Well,
it was
Logan
LA Knight.
Paul,
Thank you for the correction.
The year before was Logan Paul and Seth.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not
That's
wrong
what they
about the
confused.
Logan Paul thing, because Logan Paul feuds has started in WrestleMania in Elimination Chamber matches. It's happened twice because you had it happen with Seth that won WrestleMania 39 and WrestleMania 40. You had Randy Orton eliminate him, and then he hit him with the knuckles, and then Drew won the match that way, and that started their feud. So,
all right, but Whawkins, talk to us. Who's your choice? Is it Bianca as well, or is it your girl Alexa Bliss?
See, this match is very hard to predict, but it also has two front runners as well in Bianca and Liv. because I think no matter who wins this one, we're gonna end up with a triple threat with EO thrown in there.
Yeah.
Which, Drop's already said his piece about, the whole multi-person matches and all that stuff. Because I feel like if it is Bianca, she'll end up winning at Mania, and I think EO will just be there to take the pin because it'll protect Rhea, and then we can eventually get to the one-on-one and all that. With Liv, though, it's like, okay, we've seen that was all of last year, basically, was her and Rhea going back and forth. So, like, they could use it as just, like, a final blow-off, because there were rumors going around, like, this was, like, a couple months ago, if you guys remember, that they were thinking about extending Liv and Rhea to Mania. So, it's like, okay, they could do that in that way, but again, like, Monday and this whole EO thing's kind of telling with it being a triple threat and all that, but like there's also many holes between the two. It's like, okay, there's the whole Jade thing with Bianca, there's Liv with the tag titles, so unless like she and Raquel end up dropping them before Mania, like I really don't know, because then it's just like, who do they drop it to?
And that's why I gave Bianca versus Rhea, because Naomi could fight Jade if Naomi is the culprit one. So like, that's why I gave the little subtext, like maybe this might work, but it's like this Elimination Chamber woman is just unpredictable because we don't know answers yet to other storylines, so we can't really give the concrete, which is a good thing, Chad. Not knowing an unpredictable event that is a scripted show that has, I was CM Punk said, a formatted show.
Yeah.
I love it. So to me, it's not a bad thing.
I will say this, since we are on the topic of the Elimination Chamber, be aware, because I'm not sure if this is legit or not, but I did see a tweet that said the men's chamber match could have been spoiled by Dr. Chris Featherstone, the result of that match. So be aware if somebody decides to be an asshole and post whatever what was said from a Patreon post or whatever. No disrespect towards him, whatever. I don't want you getting the wrong idea, but obviously the three of us just be aware of potentially seeing that on the timeline, because unfortunately in this day and age, gotta put stuff out for clicks.
Yeah. So other than that,
like,
anybody? I was just gonna ask: does anybody have any last thoughts before we wrap up our show?
Well, yeah, because the other thing too with being between like Bianca or Liv, Bianca also has kind of a WrestleMania streak going right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay,
that's the reason,
if you do her and Jade at Mania, its story tells that she should probably lose that match.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you kind of want to build up another WrestleMania streak, you've got one already kind of started already with Bianca. So it's like, you could throw her into the triple threat. If it is her, EO, and Rhea, have her go over, continue that kind of trend, and like it'll end up prolonging her and Jade a little bit. But I mean, you could always do a caveat where it's like, oh, well, Jade's on SmackDown now, and Naomi's on SmackDown, but now Bianca's on Raw. So it's like she can't really get to her, even though they do crossovers all the time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you could always get away with it that way, you know?
You think they're going to move Bianca to Raw if she wins?
Yeah.
I would assume so.
I assume so, because that is the Raw show.
One thing I will say is...
Unless they switch the belt placements.
I don't see them doing that.
Yeah.
But I would think it would be fair, because, like, even to me, just looking at it, like, does the result make sense? Sure. But it is kind of, like, interesting that we got, like, possibly 2 SmackDown superstar winners for Rumble and potentially Chamber.
Yeah. So, I don't know, it's just weird. But that's also a whole thing with, like, the whole brand split and how they've been dealing with that, even just in this past year with things whatever. Yeah.
As you heard, Chad, it has its complications. Bianca has a streak, and it sucks that they're doing it on demand now, on purpose, and planning around it instead of how the Undertaker he did it organically until like streak number 9 or 10 is when they start to notice, and then they start to build it up. But that's a whole different conversation in the aspect comes to streak and how to build up. In fact, I think that could be a Grappling of the Week conversation of a discussion about streaks and maybe how WrestleMania build up. How's the road of WrestleMania been so far? Maybe that could be conversation. Chat, let's have conversation below.
Don't worry, our the Grappling with the Week episode of WrestleMania is gonna be all about that. Like, there's gonna be no news, no Dynamite, no NXT. It's gonna be all WrestleMania and all about the build.
Well, most likely NXT Stand and Deliver since that involves that weekend. So
there's gonna be a lot to talk about with this Mania build.
All right, chat. So there's gonna be a lot to be said. So yeah. Other than that, I feel like we did a good show. We're good to wrap up our show and get to the end. Yeah. I'm good because chat. We've been going on for 33 not 33 minutes, 2 hours and 33 minutes, and you know what that means is because you technically had a 2 hours and 10-minute show or like a 30-minute show because we had a 20-minute long intro. Now, but we're here to give you the quick discussion. So, any outro plugs you guys want to give to the audience? Any personal videos that came out, Pokemon that you want to give a credit to? If not, we could just transition out.
I am working on a video for my predictions on what the Mega Evolutions possibly could be for the starters. I'm not sure if that's coming out tomorrow or Monday. So you'll see it whenever it's out.
No.
And how about you, Whawkins? We know that we have a 1-year anniversary. What, you want to bring yours up?
I'm gonna just say this. I'm just gonna say this. If anyone out there dares to spoil the last episode of Dragon Ball Daima, I will come to your house. I will replace your milk with my pee. You will be drinking pea milk. That's right. You will be drinking pea milk. You don't want to drink pea milk. You don't want to have pea milk in your cereal. You see Vash's little scrunchy face. You know he doesn't.
Look, chat.
This is a man who puts cheese on his damn pancakes. Like,
there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm sorry that we lost our audience already. Chat, we went from 5 viewers to 1 viewer just because we talked about pea milk.
So don't spoil Daima for me.
So hey, don't spoil Daima. If you're in our server, please use the spoiler tags. And other than that, guys, thank you for listening to Grappling with the Week. Before we head out, as always, be sure to follow us on our social media platforms, like down below in the description and in the lower third. We are known as Weebs of the Ring on all platforms, but be sure to use the hashtag Weebs of the Ring to interact with us on before, during, or after the show's feedback is always appreciated, as we're nothing without you tuning in. Grappling the Week is presented by Animal We Studio. We are a branch of the brand that we do off the bench anime podcast, showing around in other projects under that network, and anime reactions, maybe Daredevil conversations next week. Daredevil Season 4 returns. So we have a lot of things coming up. So we appreciate everyone on the production team for all the hard work, aka ourselves, and everything we have done so far. Thank you for joining us, and shout out to the Stu for helping us with the recording of this podcast. Have a good night, everyone. We see you tomorrow for SmackDown and the kickoff show, Elimination Chamber, and everything else. We see you on the next one.
You on SmackDown, guys.